Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Independence Day. It's July 4th. You know what this means. This means that on today, one of the greatest movies ever came out in 1996, a movie called Independence Day. That's what today is all about, I think. I think that's what we're celebrating it for, right? Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, killing aliens. 1996, a fantastic movie, a movie that my wife refuses to watch, even though I desperately want to watch it. I don't know why. But I think they made a new one, too. I think they made one this year. Wasn't there like a remake, a 2021 version of it? I don't know. Maybe. Whatever the case may be, hope you guys are out there barbecuing. Hope you're enjoying the day, enjoying the pool, if you have one, if you're lucky. Enjoying a beach, not the Jersey Shore beach. That's garbage. That's trash. An actual beach that has real sand, not garbage on the sand. Real water that doesn't have flies. It doesn't have fucking horse flies the size of my dick trying to bite you in the middle of your entertainment. Hopefully that's not happening to you right now. Hopefully you're in your backyard, relaxing, listening to some nice, calming, upbeat music. Johnny Cash, maybe. Hurt. It's a good song. It's what I consider upbeat. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I enjoy those kinds of music. But whatever the case may be, just be grateful that you're able to express your freedom, because a lot of countries and a lot of people can't. Those people who can express, those freedoms are people who align themselves with, let's just say, not the narrative. And those are the people like Jordan Peterson, who unfortunately, like I've mentioned, has been banned off of, I believe Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But from last I heard, he was banned off of Twitter for his controversial statements. And that's unfortunate, because I do, like you guys know, I do support freedom of speech. I mean, it's important. It's one of the reasons we exist as a free, quote unquote, free nation. Last time I checked, we were free. That's what I always was told. That's what I believe. That's what I believed. But a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people in power want to control you and keep the power. And that's what leads me to this crazy article today. And this article, I mean, I don't even know how this is possible for many reasons. Number one, who lives in California these days? I don't know. Number two, why the hell would you live in fucking California these days? I don't know. Number three, how could you afford to live in California these days? Those three questions will always remain, in my mind until someone gives me an adequate answer. I mean, you have Elon Musk, who left the state. How many other companies left that state? And it's not just because of the restrictions they put on these companies. It's because the prices are astronomical. Joe Rogan left, too expensive. It's just crazy. What are we doing? But to further escalate things, here comes San Francisco coming out with this crazy story on Independence Day, no less. Check this out. Just give me 1 second. Let me pull over to the screen here, and I'll show it to you. Boom, boom, boom. This is crazy to me. Look at this. Oops. San Francisco couple gets $1,500 fine for parking in their own driveway, despite doing so for nearly 40 years. 40 fucking years they parked in their own driveway. How dare you? And now they're getting a fucking fine for it. The nerve, the audacity. It seemed so unfair. They'd been using their car pad for decades when suddenly the city said it's illegal. Not only that, they were threatened with a $1,500 fine, a huge penalty, even for San Francisco. The only way out? Go back into San Francisco history. These are people who, let's understand who these people are. Living in San Francisco is not cheap. It's one of the most expensive cities in the nation. And here's a proof right here. Go to Zillow, look it up. $1,649,000 is the typical home value in San Francisco. That's insane. And these houses are not big fucking houses. These are little ass houses on the streets, because you're paying for. I'm in San Francisco. Yay. See, it's just middle price tier of homes. Okay. The median home value is $1.3 million, which is 6 times the national average. That means the square foot is about $1,068 a square foot. That is crazy. According to the Census Bureau, the median salary for San Francisco residents is $119,000. That's how much you have to make on average to live there. If you want to follow the 30% rule, where you only spend 30% of your monthly income, you need an income of $93,720 just to live comfortably in a one-bedroom apartment. One fucking bedroom apartment. These people are paying almost probably, I want to say over $1 million to live in this house with their driveway that they can't even fucking park on. That's crazy to me. Again, crazy to live in California to begin with, but here you are. So parking in San Francisco is a difficult part of life there. You find a spot, but you get a ticket anyway. For Judy and Ed Crane, it seems especially unfair. We always use the carport, said Judy. Parked in that driveway every day and every night, her husband confirms. They live on a steep hill where parking can be a gravity-defying challenge. As those of you know, San Francisco is a really hilly city. You've probably seen the movies. It's true. Those houses are built on hills. Again, why the fuck do you want to live there? I don't know. Maybe it's the bridge. I don't know. Maybe you like the smell of the ocean port. I don't know. They live on a steep hill where parking can be a gravity-defying challenge, but they could slip into their driveway and park on their car pad, which they've been doing every day for the past 36 years. But not anymore. We got this email saying we can't park in the pad anymore. I said, what? That's crazy, recounted Ed. Out of the blue, the couple got a ticket for parking in their own driveway. Judy goes, it was very surprising to say the least. And the worst part is it came with an enormous fine. A fine on top of that. So not only can you not park in your own fucking driveway that you're paying $1 million plus for, right? Plus the taxes. I'm not even going to look up the taxes. You're getting a fine for doing so. $1,542 plus, get this, $250 extra per day if they didn't get the car off their car pad. And they're paying taxes, not back taxes. They're not old taxes. It's not like some crazy Ponzi scheme. No. San Francisco. I wrote them back saying I thought this was a mistake, Judy said. But it was no mistake and no ordinary parking ticket. It came from the city planning department. The city planning department telling them it's illegal to park in the front of their own house. And if we were found parking there again, this is a quote, it would be a $1,500 fine, Judy said. And so they quickly pulled the car out, but none of it made any sense. Why are you taking away something that has great utility? Asked Ed. Ed and Judy have been parking there for nearly 4 decades. And as far as they could tell, the space was used for parking since the house was built back in 1910. One of the first in their Noe Valley neighborhood. That's N-O-E, Noe Valley neighborhood. To all of a sudden to be told you can't use something that we could use for years. It's startling. Inexplicable, Ed said. So, the planning department gave them a challenge. Prove that the parking was a historic use on the lot and they might get a waiver. So again, this is San Francisco. The house was built in 1910. Why you have to prove, that the parking was a historic use on the lot? Why can't the city just know that? Why do you have to fucking prove? You're paying so much money for taxes, so much money to live there, but yet you still got to defend why you park where you park. We could be grandfathered in if we showed them a historical photo, a fucking photo that showed a car or a horse-drawn buggy in the carport, said Judy. This is not a made-up story. This is true. It sounds made up because it's fucking California. Right away, they dug up a photo of their daughter 34 years ago. A part of the car barely visible, but officials said not old enough. I did a number of online searches, said Ed, And so they combed through hundreds of historic photos. Plenty showed the early days when there were few streets or homes. Our house and our neighbor's house had empty fields all around, Ed said. But to find a photo of a car or a horse in their particular driveway back there before the days of iPhone cameras, nearly impossible, guys. Like, what would you do? Wouldn't you be stressed out? This is crazy. Who the hell wants to go through all this hassle? But again, they need parking. But you can't park anywhere else. You park on the street, you're still going to get a fine, illegally fine, if you can find a spot. So this is their parking spot. This is their driveway. They should be legally allowed to park there like they've been doing for years, in my opinion. But look what happens. Bingo. To me, it's pretty compelling that was a car, Ed said. An aerial photo from 1938 shows their exact home. And Ed is sure he can see a car or a horse and buggy pulling into his driveway. So this little black blob looks like it's pulling into our house, Ed said. It just looks like a blob from above. But Ed says it must be a car, like all the other blobs you could see along the road. I don't know what else they would be, he said. To me, it's pretty compelling that was a car pulling in or out of the parking pad. They rushed the photo to the planning department, the proof they needed. Right? That's the proof, right? Wrong. The planning department says, guess what? Guess what, bitch? These photos are too fuzzy. The planning department said this was not clear evidence. So officials tell 7 on Your Side, it's I guess a television show, the couple was violating a code section banning vehicles in a setback in front of a house, even if it isn't blocking a sidewalk. What? The code section says banning vehicles was violating a code section banning vehicles in a setback in front of a house, even if it isn't blocking a sidewalk. Though it's okay to park in front of a garage like many of my neighbors. Planning Chief Dan Sider said it was enacted decades ago for aesthetic reasons to ensure that front yards don't turn into parking lots. This is his front yard. This is his house he's paid for, that he's paying taxes for. Yeah, it's okay to park in front of a garage like their neighbors. I don't think our car looks any worse than all the other cars stacked in front of garages, Ed Crane said. And why enforce the rule after all these decades? Great question, right? Why now? He's lived there for so long. Why now? Let's see. Sider said someone made an anonymous complaint to the city. Some bitch motherfucking neighbor ran their fucking mouth. They probably pissed them off. Maybe their dog pissed on their flowers, or maybe, who knows? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they voted the opposite party and this neighbor got upset about it and said, I'm going to report you to the planning department. Sider said someone made an anonymous complaint to the city. 2 neighbors also got tagged for the same violation, parking in a front driveway. That's how you have a violation for parking in a front driveway. It's a driveway. In an email, Sider wrote, I recognize that the property owner is frustrated. I think I would feel the same way in their situation, but the planning code doesn't allow for the city to grandfather illegal uses on account of their having flown below the radar for a length of time. And so their carport sits empty. The oil stain, a testament to easier days as they struggle to park on the hill. I had to use my head to keep the trunk open while getting out groceries. Why are you living in this shit fucking city where you're paying $1 million for your house? You know what? Let me look it up right now. How much are taxes? Average taxes in San Francisco. 8.63% property tax. Average property. Homeowners in the area pay an average of $4,311 in property taxes each year. Wow. Let's see here. I don't know, man. That just seems like it's so absurd to have to pay this much for tax, number one. Number two, being told you can't park in the driveway. And like this Dan Sider guy, you're telling me you can't change the code? You can't adjust the code? Like, obviously, there were less people back then, so there were less cars back then. So shouldn't the code be adjusted for that? And you're going to tell me everyone's following this aesthetic rule? And, if I drove down this street now, everyone's going to have a perfectly aesthetic house. There's no satellite dishes, because satellite dishes didn't exist back then. There's no ring cameras, ring doorbell cameras. That didn't exist back then. To me, that looks pretty fucking ugly. I'm just saying. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. Who gives a fuck if this guy parks in the driveway? And I thought they were getting ticketed because the city needed that space for something important. Like maybe they needed it for like a bus lane or like a bike lane or like, I don't know, handicap parking spot or something. No, it's because it's aesthetics reasons. What kind of shit is that? Aesthetic reasons to ensure that front yards don't turn into parking lots. Fuck you, Mr. Dan Sider, or whatever pronoun you got. I recognize the property owner is frustrated. I think I would feel the same way in their situation, but the planning code doesn't allow for the city to grandfather illegal uses on account of their having flown below the radar for a length of time. What a shit answer that is, huh? No one, you must live in California your whole life to say something like that. The city did close the case without charging any penalties after the couple got the car off their car pad and kept it off. And the city says they could build a covered carport or garage to park there, or maybe find that old photo. The city has nothing else to do than to cause problems. They could have easily dismissed this complaint, anonymous complaint, supposedly. They could have just dismissed it. How old was the fucking person who complained about this shit? It sounds like some senior, elderly, old-ass motherfucker just complaining about little shit. You had nothing else to complain about. Just looking for a reason. Here's a picture of their house. This is an example of what I'm saying about how you're living on this hill. And it's like, who the fuck wants to live like this? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't. Who wants to do that? I don't want to do that shit. You gotta go find a park every time you go to leave the house. You come home. Oh, my parking spot's gone again. You gotta walk 3 blocks uphill and shit with your groceries. Who the hell wants to do that shit? And it's California. You can't even leave your car running to unload your car because someone's going to steal that shit. I don't know. To me, it just seems a little fucking absurd, a little fucking crazy. I mean, I'm glad that they waived the fines, but they shouldn't have fines to begin with. It shouldn't be an issue at all. They seem like good citizens. They seem like they for some reason they enjoy living here. I don't know why. Still haven't figured that shit out yet. Like, what is in San Francisco that you need to live? I like the Warriors too. Golden State's a great team. I'm not fucking moving to fucking San Francisco. I'm paying $1 million+ for that house. I won't do it. I can't afford to do it. And even if I could afford to do it, I wouldn't fucking do it. Elon Musk could afford to do it. He didn't do it. There's many celebrities who can afford to live there and they don't fucking do it. You know why? Because there's no reason to. And fucking stupid ass rules like that is more of a reason to leave that city. If everyone just abandons this shit city or shit state, maybe they'll have to change their ways because, I mean, there's no people living there. Why would you continue to enforce the same bullshit rules? I'm just saying, maybe that should be, an idea, something to think about. Am I telling you to pack up your shit and leave California? Yes, I am telling you to do that. Can I force you to do that? I can't force you to do anything. But what I strongly suggest that you maybe travel the country, just get an idea of how it is to live in other places. Try to find some place that doesn't have hills. That'd be nice. Think about it. You sell your $1 million house, whatever it's worth, and you can go buy a property in Texas or Montana or whatever, and maybe it just has little hills, But at least you can still park in your driveway. At least you don't have to worry about how many vehicles you own, and I'll tell you what, when you do move into your place, take a photo. Take a photo immediately of your driveway, of your house, of everything, the hills, everything you could think of, the oil stain, whatever the fuck you move into. Take a picture of it and save it. Save it now, because God forbid, wherever you move to, 20 years later, they turn around and tell you the same bullshit that aesthetic reasons you can't park here. unless you have a photo. I've never heard of this shit. Has any of you guys ever heard of this bullshit story like this before? Please comment, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter at CJ Bronson Show. As you guys know, I'm always on there. Again, my book Worthless is available on Amazon. It's only $3.99. It's a great book. It does not take place in San Francisco. There's very little hills in the book. There's no driveway fines. And I promise you, Dan Sider is not in there at all. So there's no reason for you not to check it out. Again, this is no knock to the Golden State Warriors. I still think they're a great team. Do I plan to visit anytime soon? Hell to the fucking no. Hell no. I don't want to step foot in this state. Any state that will charge a fucking fine for parking in your own driveway, I'm good. I don't need to visit that state at all. Sorry, Cali. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, take care. Have a great 4th of July. Enjoy the fireworks. Enjoy the barbecue, the grilling. I'm out. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.